Okay, so to begin the look, per usual, I'm going to start off with my lid primer. This one here is from Benefit. It is their Stay Don't Stray eyeshadow and concealer primer, although I only use it for eyeshadow. So just applying that onto the lids and just blending it out using my clean finger. After that, I'm going to set everything in place with my NARS pressed powder. This one is in the shade Mountain. And just applying a light layer of that onto the entire lid in order, like I said, to set everything. And then this is also going to help me with the blending process when I add on additional shadows. The first eyeshadow that I'm going to start working with is this one. This one here is Creme Brulee from MakeupGeek, and I'm simply going to be applying it onto the crease using windshield and circular motions. It's a combination of the two in order to blend everything really nicely onto the lid. And I'm using my Sigma E40, which is a large tapered blending brush. The next eyeshadow that I'm going to be working with is this beautiful brown, really warm brown. It's called Frappe from MakeupGeek. All of the eyeshadows that I'm going to be working with for this look are MakeupGeek with the exception of the lid shade. That one is going to be MAC. So anyway, applying this in the exact same way that I applied the previous shade. So just circular windshield wiping motions with my blending brush and just working the color intensity up to my liking. This is a really light brown for my skin tone, so I usually go back about 2 or 3 times in order to really get good color payoff. Not to say that the shade or the eyeshadow itself doesn't give good color payoff, but because of my skin tone, it's really hard to really see it, just really see it on my lids unless I work it up a little bit. Next eyeshadow is Cocoa Bear, and I'm going to be grabbing this with a smaller blending brush in order to be a little bit more precise with my application. And I'm also tilting my head so that I get more of a rounded application as opposed to more of a cat-eyed application. I feel that whenever I am looking straight or my head isn't tilted, I get more of that, cat-eye application, which I wasn't really going for this look. So that is why I'm tilting my head to just make it a little bit easier on myself to get a more rounded application around the outside of the eye. Since my eye socket isn't very defined, or on the lid is not very defined, I have a hard time with really rounding out my eyeshadows when I'm going after that rounded out look. So that is why I tilt my head. And then after I apply one layer of this, I go back with the original blending brush that I started without adding any additional product in order to blend in between applications. So whenever I am going to go into the darker shades, I like to blend in between applications so that everything just continues to look nice and blended and you don't get any harsh lines left behind. So just working this onto the outer corner of my eye, or the outer part of my eye, and then I'm dragging it a little bit into the crease and blending in between. In order to define my outer V a little bit more and my crease, I'm going to go in with this shadow. This one here is Mocha, also from MakeupGeek, and apply it onto the exact same spots that I applied the previous eyeshadow. So tilting my head, making sure that I'm getting that outer part of my eyeball, the outer part of my eye, and then dragging the shadow into my crease just a little bit. I'm not dragging it in all the way, and blending in between applications. The lid shade that I'm using is this one, and this one is Creme de Violet from MAC, and I'm going to be using it wet, so I'm just spritzing my brush with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus. Eye drops do the trick, they work just as well, so go ahead and wet your eye brushes with that if you don't have the MAC Fix Plus in order to really intensify your shadows. This one is a frost shadow, so when I wet it, it really intensifies it and it makes it pop that much more. So just applying that onto the lid, making sure that I stop right before the outer V. And then after I'm done applying the lid shade, I'm going back with my previous blending brush, the smaller one. Without adding any additional product, I'm just simply going to use this to blend out the shadows in between. So that way you can't really tell where the lid shade ends and where the crease shades begin. Everything just looks nice and seamless and all kind of like one. Next comes our favorite part, the wing line. Just kidding. Of course, this is the most at times frustrating and time-consuming part, but whenever I use a pen, like a liquid liner as opposed to a gel liner, I find that I have less of a hard time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. But this one here is from Kat Von D. It is the Tattoo Liner in Trooper. So just applying a wing line using that. And I'm not taking the wing line all the way to my inner corner, like the inner corner of my eye. I'm stopping short of that. I don't know why. I just prefer it that way sometimes. So just stopping short of the inner corner and dragging it out in order to make a somewhat of an elongated wing, but not too dramatic. Next, I'm using the Professional Pore Filler from Benefit. It's like a pore balm, really smooth. I love the velvety texture. And what I've been doing lately is dragging that all the way to the under eye area, not just to fill in my pores, but to the under eye area as well to smooth that out. And I think it's making a difference when I apply concealer on top of it, like my color corrector and concealer. I don't know if it's just in my head or if it's really making it look a lot smoother, but try it out if you have it and let me know what you think about that. And then of course taking my color corrector, this one here is from Becca. It is the Under Eye Brightening Corrector, and applying a thin layer of that onto the under eye area before moving on to foundation. For today's look, I'm using the exact same foundation that I used in my review video, which is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. So just applying that and blending it out using my damp beauty blender. For concealer, I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This one is in the shade medium, and just applying that onto the under eye area before moving on, blending it out using my damp beauty blender, and then setting everything under the eye in place with a little bit of RCMA's No Color Loose Powder. In order to shapen and fill in my brows, I'm going to be grabbing my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I'm using the shade Dark Brown. And then I'm grabbing my Maybelline Brow Drama Brow Mascara. This one is in the shade Deep. Really make them, I guess, kind of a little bit thicker and darken them in order to add more fullness to my brows. For mascara, I'm going to be using my High Definition Mascara from Beauty for Real and just applying a couple of really good coats onto the lashes. This shade here is a ColourPop Crème Gel Liner in the shade Piggy Bank. It was a very last minute idea, but I went with it because I love this color and I figured what better way to use it than with this purple. So I'm just going to be applying this onto the waterline, and let me tell you, this stayed in place the entire day. Using the lid shade once more, this one, like I mentioned, is Creme de Violet from MAC. I'm going to be applying it wet onto the lower lash line using my flat definer brush in order to intensify the shade color once more. And then grabbing a little bit of creme brulee onto a pencil brush in order to diffuse it and just blend out the lower lash line a little bit. And of course, grabbing my mascara once more in order to add some onto the lower lashes. Grabbing my concealer brush and the Maybelline Master Contour Face Kit, I'm going to be applying some of that highlight onto the inner corner in order to really brighten up the eye look. For bronzer today, I'm going to be applying my Hoola bronzer from Benefit, and I'm going to start off by applying it onto the hollows of my cheeks and then swirling the brush upward, so that hopefully when I apply blush onto my cheeks, you won't be able to tell where my bronzer ends and where my blush begins. For blush today, I'm going with this Sigma blush. This one is in the shade Cor de Rosa, and I'm going to simply apply it a little bit onto the apples of my cheeks, but mainly focusing on the outer cheek area. For blush, I'm going back to the Master Contour Face Kit from Maybelline and grabbing some more of that highlight and just using a fan brush in order to apply it onto the entire cheek area, but of course, starting at the top of the cheeks and then just dragging the highlight downward. Last but not least comes the lips. Now, before I apply any kind of liquid lipstick lately, I've been scrubbing my lips with this Lip Revival from Beauty for Real. It just completely hydrates them and gets rid of any kind of dead skin that I have on top of them. Makes my liquid lipstick look so much better and feel a lot more comfortable regardless of which brand I use. And for liquid liner today, I'm going with Ofra's liquid liner in the shade Charmed. I feel that this is not too loud. It's pink, but it's not too loud to where it's like competing with my eyes. You know what I mean? It's very toned down, almost kind of a nude type of a pink. So that is why I went with it. And that completes today's look. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this look, that you enjoyed this video. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video.